Rachel Nickell. Well, tell us about all of that.
Rob Napper.
That's it, Rob Napper. So you were in with Rob Napper?
Yeah.
How was
He
he?
weren't on my ward.
No.
By this time, I was into it about 5 years in my stay there, and I've got a job down at the Gardens. And what the Gardens is, it's like a big field. What they used to do back in the 1900s, before the wars and all that, they used to grow their own vegetables down there. Remember, Broadmoor was open back in the 1800s.
Yes.
They used to grow their own vegetables down there. So they still had a wall and gates that are locked, and they put people in there that can be trusted and that have got clearance for the garden party. And when you're down there, you're allowed to roam about like with a strimmer or petrol lawnmower. They've got a ride-on mower, and they've also got a potting shed and greenhouse where they grow the flowers. We used to tend to the flowers. They used to sell them out the front gate to members of staff and to visitors. Now you can buy bunches of flowers that are made there by patients. And Rob Napper, when I first met him, was he come across. First of all, this was before he got nicked for Rachel Nickell.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew him before that.
So what was he in for then?
Rape.
Right.
So obviously I didn't like him. But he weren't high profile at the time. People just used to say, stay away from him. He's very odd, and he is odd. He started chatting to me, and I tried to give him the cold, sort of like
push him away, blow him away.
If you want to make me a cup of tea, that's fine, but you ain't getting fuck all else out. You're not getting no conversation. But if you want to make me a cup of tea, I have 2 sugars. That sort of scenario. And like, by the way, before you leave this room, it needs to be swept up as well. Yeah, make sure.
You used to say that.
Yeah, I did, yeah. And he'd go, what, Paul? No problem, Paul. No problem. All right, Paul. Well, he didn't used to talk like that. It was a bit more... Yeah, he sort of had his head up his own arse half the time. I really got on my nerves. And other people's, I think, as well. So after a while, I thought, I'm in here for no crime. I've done 5 years now. No crime in Broadmoor on a high dependency ward. Was I not? Was I on high dependency? I might have been back on the rehabilitation ward. I can't exactly remember. I remember we were talking 10 years ago that I got out. So anyway, I had it in my head that I'm in here for no crime. So to justify me being here, I commit a crime while I'm here. And I had it planned in my head that I have access to, I had access to petrol, but it was locked in a outhouse, so you couldn't really get to it when you wanted to, like to fill up the lawnmower and all that. That was supervised, but I did have access to like garden forks and garden spades, and I thought to myself I could not drag him, but coerce him round the corner of one of the buildings, smash him round the head with it a few times and kill the fucker. That way it'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone. One, it'd get rid of him. Yeah. And it justify, give me a crime, the reason why I'm justified to being in Broadmoor. But I'm glad that I didn't go through it.
Did that play on your mind, Paul?
It used to play on my mind a lot, yeah.
So did you not get to attack it then?
I you could say I took myself out of it, Liam.
Did you?
Obviously it's not a good thing to do, is it?
No.
Because I don't think I'd be sitting here right now.
No, you'd be doing life now, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I would,
although the public would thank you for
it. Hero, but like, it was just
at my own cost.
Yes. It was frustration on your part.
Most of it was frustration, why I got involved in incidents and...
Did you take hostages?
I've been partial to a couple of hostages.
What, Tuesday or Wednesday, just bored?
What happened, it's not as bad as what it seems. They weren't intentionally taking hostages.
No.
It was put down in a risk assessment that I was a hostage taker.
Yeah.
Because an incident occurred on Henley Ward where me and this other patient was going to go into the smoke room, get everybody out, and the chairs that they use are similar to, if you look, similar to these sort of sturdy, solid oak underneath the cotton, and weighted down with a concrete slab. So they're hard, and they're shaped like really hard to pick up, not very awkward, so you can't throw them about. But so we thought we'd stack them up in the doorway, because it's a door that's always kept open for the smoke room. So we stack them up and we have a barricade. Now obviously it weren't the first barricade I've ever been involved in, but it is when you've got two other patients that would rather sit down and watch the telly than get out the room. So it was a case of, you're not getting out, we're having a barricade. We're watching telly, that's what I said, we're watching telly, we're watching something on the telly. I said, all right, fair enough. So me and my mate, we've got these chairs, got them all stacked up high, and went over. Matey got one end of the telly, I got the other, put it on the floor, and it's like they're going like that. Like still looking at the telly, you know, we're putting it on the floor now. There's going to be a major incident. These fuckers are concerned about what's on the telly. And ripped off two table legs, two legs, so we've got weapons now. I know, I knew the scenario. They all get kitted up in their shield, in their overalls.
Riot gear, yeah.
Right, full-blown riot gear. But what it is, with them, they don't bring in the police. They're staff that are specifically trained as an extra. They might be normal staff, like sport and leisure staff, and then trained in rioting. So they have their own riot team.
Right.
Yeah, they come in with a shield.
They come in with shields.
One on the top and just steam you.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I weren't. Obviously, I knew what was going to happen. I knew that two table legs going up against 6 men with full riot gear.
Yeah.
Even in their training, they used to bricks and baseball
It's in their
bats.
favour, wasn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
And even petrol bombs, don't they? That's what riot police are used to. So two table legs ain't going to do fuck all, is it?
Yeah, no.
But in my eyes, it was just to express myself.
Yeah.
That's what it was about. Just one of them days, it used to happen on a Friday or something, one of them days and you think, fuck it, something's going to happen. And it'll always be me that pays the price, getting injected with Accuphase, a liquid cosh. And on this particular time, so the staff started trickling onto the wall, the extra staff. One of them was talking to me. I said, look, I don't want to fucking talk to you. We're staying in here. It was a smoke room, but the actual, you didn't have lighters and that. You had, like a car.
Yeah.
Where a car lighter, you push it in and it comes back out again. Well, it's like that, but it's connected, it's on the wall. There's a hole in the wall and you push it, the button, and it lights up. You put your cigarette in there, so you can't carry it around with you or nothing.
Right, I'll get you, mate. Yeah. You just
That's on the outside of that room.
Wow.
But we used batteries. My mate didn't smoke. I was the only one that smoked. But we was in there for the long haul. You know, we was in there until it all comes down and comes to the crunch where they're coming in. So
do you negotiate or anything?
They do try it. They say, look, come on, Paul, come on. You know, I won't say his name, but the other mate here, come on, just call it a day. Look, these two want to get out. Because after a while they said, the two that were sitting there watching telly said, Paul, we want to leave now. Like it was getting a bit, they were getting in full riot gear. They're getting in full riot gear around the corner.
Coronation
like 8
Street's
of them
over.
getting in full riot gear. Now they're saying, It's sort of a big barricade, like a big like load of chairs up against the doorway. They can't get out unless we move it. And because I said no, you had your fucking opportunity.
Yeah, you was watching telly.
You was watching fucking telly. You ain't going fucking nowhere. Because I said that, they put it down in a risk assessment for my next tribunal. They ticked hostages. And they gave a reason because I held 2 hostages while they were having a barricade.
And really, they were just watching Coronation
They were probably Coronation Street, something like that.
Yeah.
It's worth getting,
And in the end, what happened in the end, doctor came along, because one of my doctors that I've had for a number of years is a doctor that's been on plenty of documentaries.
I thought he was going to say plenty of fish then.
Probably ain't that. He's been on plenty of documentaries.
Yeah.
Doctor came across and said, I'm taking you to intensive care ward at ISIS, they called it, ISIS ward, underneath Henley ward. And I said, well, you're taking me as... I thought, fuck it, I ain't staying up here after doing all this for fuck all, and stay up here and get fucking moaned at all the time, get put in seclusion. I was in there for 12 fucking weeks, and it was in the seclusion room. Had my meals brought to me, injected every 3 days.
What did you do?
He said, no, you're coming with me, you're staying here. Pointing at me. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, you're staying here. And mate, he looked at me, he went, yeah, I'm out of here, Puff. And he threw a bit of wood down.
Infuriated you.
He's pulled the thing away. He said, and then the other 2 said, right, we go as well, yeah? And I'm looking like that and I'm thinking, I said to mate, I don't want to mention his name, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard not to, isn't it?
Yeah.
From telling like a story and that. And I said, what, you're going to fuck off and just leave it like that? Well, I'm going down to ISIS ward, what are you going to do, Paul? I said, well, I ain't thought this far. Which obviously I hadn't.
Yeah.
I was expecting to have a good run-in with them, with both of us.
Yeah.
2 is better than 1.
Was you expecting at least a day's hostage thing, or maybe 2 days? Did you have a plan on what hour? Definitely a day then, would you?
Yeah, I was in there for at least.
Yeah.
I wanted it. It was coming up to about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night.
So you could have definitely got 24 hours out of it.
Yeah, without them coming in. If I'd have sort of like started threatening my own life, but because I had 2 people in there that weren't meant to be in there, even though I would never hurt them, but the staff didn't know that, in their eyes that's a bit of a risk.
Yeah, so they've got
they've got to take consideration
the other people's lives.
2 normal people and 2 people that ain't attached to this incident that could get seriously injured. And I have to take that in consideration.
Paul is actually holding me hostage here. I'm not moaning about it. I don't mind because we've got to move out.
We didn't want to do another interview.
He's chose to move out again.
Yeah, he's chose to take the hostage on the day we're moving out.
Oh, Bren. Anyway, so that
he
one
forced us to do another podcast.
Too well after all that.
No, I bet not.
You know.
So I was going to ask you, one of the other people that was really well known was the guy that tried to get Princess Anne. Is that right?
Yeah.
In the
70s.
There was a guy who was
Ian Ball. Ian Ball, his name is. Yeah. And what I did, he wasn't on my ward because he was on the old people's ward.
Yes.
But Sutcliffe was on that ward.
Yes.
I just mentioned that Sutcliffe was on an old people's ward.
Right.
Because he was getting badly beaten up all the time, people making a claim to fame.
Yeah.
Kept on trying to do things to him, end up in the news of the world the next week.
Yes.
Yeah, because they've tried to kill Sutcliffe, or they've injured Sutcliffe, or they've done this to him, or they've done that. Or even Sutcliffe's been eating steak and chips. Crazy shit in the news of the world. But anyway, getting back to it, where it's situated in Broadmoor, they've got a shop, an actual shop. They don't take money, but you go over there with your proof that it's you, who you are, and on certain days, like you got canteen in prison, but that gets delivered to your door. Well, it gets delivered still, but you go over there, you choose your items.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I want this, and they box it all up for you, and then the porters are coming along that day, later on that day, delivering it to your ward.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
When you're on a rehab ward, same sort of scenario, but you can take some of your shopping, except for tobacco, because you was allowed to smoke back then, except for you were allowed to take your shopping, so you used to go and wait outside for the shop to open. And I used to see Ian Ball there, and he didn't say to me, "Oh, how you doing? You know, I'm Ian Ball. I try to kidnap Princess. I put a ransom up for Princess Anne." It was another friend of mine that said to me, "By the way, that's Ian Ball. There is he? He was an old gentleman. He used to wear a suit all the time."
Do you know if he died in there? I don't think he ever got out.
He never got out. No. And as I say, it was well before my time.
Yeah.
He'd been in there a number of years, and he was. I just want to put it out there that he weren't like he might have schizophrenia, but he still kept his appearance. He had a suit.
A smart old man.
He was like a Mr. Ben put back into the 70s.
Yeah.
Like all dressed smartly.
He would have went to prison.
You know, like Ron Craig.
Yeah.
Still kept his appearance.
Stuck in the era that he was.
But he still kept his appearance going throughout his journey.
Yeah. The only reason I know of that man, Paul, is I watched a documentary about the man who saved Princess.
About the bodyguard.
But yeah, he was. I think he was a boxer, and he pulled over, didn't he? And he got in front of her.
Yes.
He got a George Cross for saving her. I think
Really?
he got a very I'm pretty sure it was a George Cross.
Because I know that
the equivalent.
Sorry, he shot up two of her bodyguards.
That's right. He shot up the driver, I think, and the
driver and one of her close protection team.
That's right.
And he was going to hold her. He wasn't going to kill her there and then, but he was going to hold her ransom for £1 million.
But fair play to Princess Anne, she weren't that phased by it.
She was like, she weren't phased by it. She was like sturdy, wasn't she? She was one of the old generation,
the old royalty. Staunch.
Like you're not going to put a stop to me.
And she was straight out in public view.
I'll tell you, when I was talking about royalty, I don't know if you know, Princess Diana visited Broadmoor.
Oh really? God.
She opened up the medical centre, and there's a big portrait of her and members of staff in opening the new medical centre.
Right.
And this is before I was there. It's I think it was back in the late 90s. When she was alive, obviously.
Mid-90s. Yeah.
Mid-90s, and she came up onto my ward. Henry Ward, when it was high profile, and introducing herself. But the thing is, her bodyguards, her minders, were unarmed. The only time they've ever been with royalty and not been armed with a gun,
revolver or gun,
with a gun.
Yeah,
armed police. Never.
That was the only time
ever that Princess Diana has ever been out in public without an armed escort.
And was that in case the risk of someone getting
it off her far outweighs
the risk of not having it. Yeah, because they had enough staff to deal with it.
They had enough staff to deal with someone, but if someone actually got a shooter out of the gun hole.
That's an interesting fact. You'd never think that, would you? That's an interesting.
They took all that into consideration, weighed it all up.
Yeah, and it makes sense, Paul.
Yeah, it does, but that's the only time ever that Princess Diana was in public unarmed with an unarmed escort.
Wow.
In the most maddest place in the country. How mad is that? In the most fucking maddest place in the country.
Yeah.
And Princess Diana.
So British.
Princess
British. No, we don't need a gun in there. They're all mad.
Princess Diana done a lot for mental health.
Yeah, she did. She was
like Prince William does a lot in her name.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.